Lovers Quarrel. It's a long, sustained quarrel.
What's going on, world?
Hey, everybody.
It's your guy, TJ, Mr. New Cool.
And it's your girl, Dani. You're anxiously awaiting alpaca.
Dope.
Thank you.
Have you ever used alpaca before?
I don't think so.
Just asking.
Anything's possible.
How have you been, Dani?
I've been okay. Wouldn't be me if I wasn't...
Tired?
Well, actually, always tired, but actually sick. So,
Okay.
Getting over a cold. Everybody in my school seems to have one, but knock on wood, it's not the flu because that has been taking people out left and right.
Excuse her yawn.
Sorry. It's because you brought up me being tired. That's why.
But you're always tired, so it's like,
well,
duh.
I work hard. So.
My fault. What did we say that, like 3 episodes ago, whatever? It's not tired. It's different levels to it.
Sleepy versus tired, and
Okay.
need of rest and all that stuff.
Got
like
you.
that.
Yep.
When we cleared the air.
Yeah.
As I give myself another hit of a vapor inhaler. This thing is like wonderful.
Looks like you're doing coke.
Well, that's not the
Got
case.
powder on your nose.
I don't have powder on my nose.
You have something on your nose, like white.
I do not.
Oh, it's just skin.
Because I've been blowing my nose for the last 4 days.
And you're white, so makes sense.
No,
Anyway.
I'm light-skinned, asshole. Well, welcome to another episode of Lovers Quarrel. If this is your first time listening, welcome. If this is your second time, welcome back. And of course, if you've been listening for 3 or more episodes, you are now family, or as TJ would like to call you, a lover.
Yep, you my lover.
And as always, TJ and I are here to shoot the shit and talk things out and, bring you guys the best of us. So how have you been, my good sir?
I've been living the dream.
How's your 2020 been going thus far? We're, as of today recording, we're 15 days in.
It's been good. Missed 1 episode for 2020, but that happens, right?
Life happens. TJ and I we're making a lot of family decisions, and we're doing a lot of things to kind of to accomplish goals that we've set for ourselves this year. So
I thought we weren't gonna talk about it,
we're not.
but you kind of brought it up, so you got to talk about it.
We don't.
We do. I feel like we do because you kind of why tease people? Why bring up something if we just said we're not going to talk about it just to talk about it?
Because I was giving a broad sweeping statement, but if you want to go ahead at this point, now it's really a thing where it's a tease if you don't say something now.
No, you brought it up. Go ahead.
I didn't bring it up.
You technically did.
I technically did not. I technically and literally and figuratively did
not. It was
not.
tap and dance. It was like tap dancing around it. It was like right there, the thin ice.
All that
and
that's
right
what was
there,
on
and you
your
was
mind. Because I've been working towards several goals during
Okay.
2020, and we're only 15 days in. So go right ahead, senor.
No.
No.
Nope.
Okay, so we don't have to talk about it. Well,
So you don't leave the fans. Sorry, not fans. I don't like the word fans. You don't leave the lovers out in the cold.
I'm not leaving them out in the cold, but you know what? I look at it this way: they'll have to come back and listen to the next, 2-3 episodes before if they need to find out.
You're trash.
I'm not trash.
That is. That's pretty trash. You're gonna bring it up. You're gonna bring up goals and stuff, and
Treat it
then
it could be a cliffhanger.
no. So I'll bring it up because you're acting
I'm not.
soft right now.
Oh, I'm okay.
I would have called you never word, but I don't want people to be upset with me. So
What were you gonna call me? No, say what you mean.
say you acting pussy right now. So.
Oh my
But
god.
I ain't want to go there. But fuck it. This is what you want to do. So.
Oh my gosh, you're so dramatic.
So Dani and I are looking at purchasing a new home. And we're close. We've signed.
Some
I guess we're
papers?
under contract.
Yes.
Technically.
Yeah. Pray for us, y'all.
Before we recorded this, Dani asked if we was going to bring it up, and I said no. But because she's tap dancing around it, it's just let me just bring it up.
I didn't think I was tap dancing. But,
I feel like you were.
well, that is
You were
perception.
alluding to it. So.
Perception is reality.
Whatever. Listen. So we're looking to purchase a home, a bigger home.
Forever home.
Yes, as I like to call it, a forever home. So we're under contract for that, and since we brought it up, I ask that y'all pray for us and wish us good luck and all that other good jazz that we are able to close on this property. So
And that all goes well.
if it does, then this will be property number 2 for the Byersons, and it would just be a bigger space
Yeah, for us to grow in and, you know, raise our family in and all that stuff. And it's, you know, moving and buying a home can be a really stressful process. And, you know, as this process continues, we will from here on out keep you abreast of how we're doing, because it can be, and it's an exciting time, but it's also like very nerve-wracking. And it's also like, okay, now there's a shift, a change, things have to get packed up, things have to get moved, and then, you know, you're trying to take on responsibilities. And now we're doing this, you know, more established, with a child, with more things and all that stuff like that than when we first came into our current home. So I feel as though I agree with TJ's sentiments about, please just send us all the good vibes and energy and prayers that you can. Plus that, you know, it can be sometimes a strain on marriages, well, not even marriages, on a couple temporarily, because it's just a lot sometimes. Because it could just be stressful sometimes. Like, it's not even anything that one of us would do to or for each other or against each other, but just because it's there is a undoubted amount of stress that occurs when people move, period. So if you're moving by yourself or you're moving with a family of 12, there's stress that is involved with it. So that could also spill over into other arenas. So even though you and I are on the same team, we're working together, it could just be a little, you know, there could be bumps in the road that, you know, stress us out a little bit. So just that we kind of acknowledge it and push through.
Are you alluding that I was stressing you out?
When?
I'm just asking, because you said it can stress people out, but
it can stress people out.
So were you stressed? Are you stressed?
I'm not presently stressed because we're still in the early stages, but the idea of the idea of like purging this house and then packing everything up, because I don't want to take anything that we don't need.
Everything.
I want to burn a bunch of shit and donate a bunch of shit.
We should do a yard sale.
Oh my God.
We really could, though.
A yard sale in like January, February?
Yeah. You just put up signs. You put shit outside. People come. They either buy.
Who's going to stand outside? What if the weather drops again? Because it's been unseasonably warm, but people usually do yard sales in like better weather. I'm just saying. You can do a virtual yard sale.
I don't know if there's... That's what's wrong with you millennials. Virtual...
This is a person who would probably not spend that much time outside.
I would spend time outside. You just put up a sign. You put shit outside. You could do shifts. I do 30 minutes. You do 30 minutes.
Okay. Well, we could do that as well.
See, my wife is not resourceful.
I am resourceful.
That could be free money. Not free money, but it could be money
and my husband
received.
My husband is impulsive at times.
I don't think that's impulsive, but I can be impulsive. You're very right about that. But I don't think that's impulsive. I just think it's easier just to put shit out there and see what goes, what doesn't, and whatever we don't, you can just donate the rest. But that's just my thinking.
We can entertain that thought, but my thing is like, it's just gonna be stressful because we have to pack up our lives. We've been in this house since 2011, so was that 9 years? Yeah. 9 years.
It's going on 9 years.
On 9 years. And
I mean, math was never your strong suit, but I got you.
And being shady is yours.
100%.
So
I wish I could master in it.
No, there's too much student loan debt for that. So ultimately, I'm just saying though, it's just like the idea of packing up a house and then transferring to the other house, and like I'm terrified that like we will move stuff unnecessarily into that house, and then, you know, and then also too, sometimes when people have more space, they feel like they have more space to fill things with or whatever, and that is more so directed towards TJ, because TJ has a bit of a shopping habit, and I just don't want.
I feel like I've calmed down.
I feel like you're kind of like the tides, right? You have like high tide and low tide, so you'll have low tides where like there's not a lot of boxes that come through, and then you have high tides where it's like every day there's something at the door waiting for you. So
whatever.
But what I'm saying though is just that, you know, I just don't want us to bring the bad habits that we've developed in this house with us into our claiming it new home.
Okay.
So that is something stressful. I worry about that because I feel like you and I are going to beef about that, because I'm going to be like, don't bring that in here, or put this somewhere and you're gonna like huff and puff and get upset with me
Depends on how
because you
you
feel like
ask
I'm
me.
nagging you.
I mean, you do be nagging.
I do not nag you.
A lot of times you're nagging.
And I don't want to have to chase after you and clean up behind you in a much larger house because it's just going to be, that part can be very frustrating.
All right, so I'll work on that. And can you leave being sleepy and tired in this house? Or is that too much to ask?
That is too much to ask.
Okay. I tried, y'all.
Because what does that have to do with
Leaving old habits?
Okay. So that is some big news for us. I'm going to just move on because TJ is just being...
I just asked the question.
Unreasonable.
How's that unreasonable? You can ask a question. Can you leave being sleepy?
It was a dumb question.
No such thing.
Oh, there absolutely is such thing as a dumb question. Why don't we go ahead and jump on this elevator? How about that? Are you going first or am I going first?
I'll go first.
All right. Are we going up or down?
I'm going up.
Going up.
Voice sounds terrible.
Well,
we're in the projects now. I mean, we were always in the projects, but this is truly the projects. Section 8 housing.
You would know.
So I married it. You're right. Yo, I wish I can see Danny's hair right now. That's why I'm going up. I wish I could see this little poof puff that she got out.
I'm comfortable. I'm home.
I get it.
I'm wearing my hair naturally as it grows out my head.
Oh, I wish I can just see.
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
I'm just trying to like preserve my little bang, my little natural curly bang. Okay. Don't take a picture of me, sir, because that's disrespectful.
I mean, we might have to put on Lovers Quarrel.
Don't do that.
Why?
Because that's being a terrible husband.
You're feeling natural. People need to see.
I'm home. I'm comfortable. I'm in the confines of my humble abode. I gotta
see the little buckwheat joint.
It's not a buckwheat joint. That's not even what it is.
It is. Snappy.
Spell buckwheat.
Buckwheat. Boom. Drops mic. Anyway, I'm going up because my wife found my wallet.
Oh. I get some shout outs, yeah.
And I was being kind of nasty, tone wise, maybe. Not really towards her, but I was just frustrated. And
fair.
My wonderful wife, man.
Wonderful.
She found my wallet. Because for like the last 3 days, I've been driving around my passport. I said, fuck it. The cops going to get me. They're going to see my ID. They'll cite me, but whatever. I was literally going to come home today. If I couldn't find it, I would have purchased
all new.
I'd have purchased a new ID. Listen, I'm so terrible with my fucking wallet.
Yes, you are.
And I don't understand how, because I understand how. Sometimes I just forget.
Because you don't take it out of your pants.
But
pocket.
this one time,
it's because of that bad habit that you strip wherever you are.
No, that's not what happened.
Okay.
So
and you don't take.
I hurt my knee. And
yes, TJ's got a bad knee now. Yes,
I hurt my knee, and they had put a knee brace on it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I came home, I asked Danny to help me because it was so much in pain that I couldn't take the knee brace off because it was on top of my jeans, or my dress pants. So when I took it off, Danny then took off my pants and then she put back on my knee brace. So I knew where it was, but I didn't know which pants. I don't know. So, yes, my up is to my wife.
Oh, thank you.
She saved my life.
She
always does.
TJ's been looking for this wallet for 3 days, y'all. I found it in about 3 minutes. But that's a habit that you're going to break when we get into this new house because...
I don't know if I can break that habit.
When it comes to... First of all...
Right.
Put your wallet...
You can't break sleeping. I can.
Put your wallet in the same place.
That's fair.
And then when you take off your clothes, put them in the hamper.
But you took off my clothes. I didn't take off my clothes.
This
one is technically you.
Per your request, nigga, because you couldn't.
Because I couldn't, exactly. So you knew that.
So I'm supposed to then also go through your pants.
I'm not going to take this one 100%.
No.
I'll take it 97%.
So I should have gone through your pants pockets. Are you like...
Listen, so that's my up.
Some adult
it's
you
your
are.
Go. Me pass the rock.
Grow up.
It's your go.
So
are you going up or down?
I'm going down.
Going down. Yeah.
That was terrible too.
I mean,
at least I have an excuse.
I'm not used to being in projects, so I need, sophisticated elevators. This is a trash space. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and go down.
Mm-hmm. So, my elevator talk today is about the fact that they are projecting for snow on a fucking Saturday, and I am sorry, but if it snows, it better give me a delay, or it better give me an early release, or it better give me a day off. If I don't get one of those three things, then you can fucking keep it. And the fact of the matter is that then you're going to try and have it snow on a Saturday, which in Maryland, in Baltimore, would probably I think it called for like 3 to 6 inches or something like that. It's absolutely enough to get us like some type of time off from work. And now it's being wasted on a Saturday, and now it's because it was like 65 degrees this past weekend. Like the world is on fire. It is literally and figuratively burning. And then the cold weather is not here and not doing what it's supposed to do. And now you're trying to give me snow on a Saturday, meaning it's not going to impact my work and not give me a day off. And it's coming on the weekend where we already have a Monday off, which means it's still, even if it was still kind of icy or cold on like Sunday into Monday, we weren't going to fucking school, no way. Don't give me bad weather unless it gives me a day off or a half day at work. Otherwise, you can keep it. So it's a first world petty problem that doesn't impact a lot of people, but it's a hill I'm willing to die on. So that is why I am going down. And with that, I yield.
That's pretty trash.
Listen, first of all, you shouldn't be saying it's trash because now you get to you reap the same benefits I do when it comes to snow days. Yeah, but I actually
want to, I don't mind going to work.
I don't mind going to work either, but I love me a good fucking snow day.
Yeah, I mean, you complain about not working all the time, so.
I complain about not working?
Like, you complain about having to work all the time.
I mean, I don't think I complain about having to work. No, is it tiring? Yes. Is it the work I do tiring? I mean, is the work I do unfulfilling? No. But is it a lot? Does it take a lot out of me? Absolutely. So if I get like a surprise snow day on like a Friday or a Thursday or whatever, I'll take it. Like, it's paid time off. And I'm particularly somebody who doesn't mind the idea of like, if because what happens too is that like if you exceed a certain number of days off, I mean, because of like inclement weather, then you'll start to have to make them up at the end of the school year. But that shit doesn't bother me because the end of the school year is like, in a lot of ways, it's like a wash. Like once a certain time frame hits in June, like the kids start to like not come as much, and you're starting to wrap things up or whatever. So it's really not even that deep. It's not even that difficult, and it's like summer break has already begun. But that is my elevator talk for the week, and I thank you for joining my TED Talk on snow days.
Trash.
Oh well, you're a hater.
I guess. Let's move this on. What's your relationship tip of the week?
My relationship tip of the week is when in a relationship or any ship, is to leverage your strengths. Okay?
I need an example.
So, this past weekend, Tatum's godfather came over, and he brought Tatum's final gift of the holiday season, which was
He's a piece of shit, too.
Why is he a piece of shit?
Go ahead.
So, this was this massive 5x4 castle, frozen castle. And he opened the box, took up the entire backseat of his car. And then, of course, Tatum is like, oh my God, it's the castle. It's one of the two things she did, like, legitimately ask Santa for. So we open up the box, we dump out the pieces. There are, I shit you not, like, feels like 100 pieces to this fucking thing, right? And then it comes down to like, okay, well, who's gonna get to building this, And everybody's looking at mommy and daddy. But in this particular situation, when it comes to constructing things well, then it's my duty, right? So
you're trying to say if I do it, it's not gonna be done well?
I would say that you lack the patience to build.
But that has nothing to do with something being built well. Like, you emphasize well as if
because I feel as though if you had built it, you would have, because of your lack of patience, you would have not like read the directions or something like that. Then you would have put something wrong, then you would have to break it apart, and then something would have broke. Like things, you break things a little easy. That's all.
Go ahead. I'm never gonna.
So we leverage the strengths. My strength is the building, the construction. I have the patience to assemble this thing, this monstrosity. TJ's strength is facilitating, the batteries that go with the thing.
that's all I'm good for.
So, like,
you got this little natural nappy hair thing going on, and now
it's my little Janelle Monáe poof.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. It looks dry.
It looks dry. Wow. I haven't put any of my argan oil on it tonight.
You got a little curl like on the ends and in the middle. It looks like Don King.
It looks like Don King. Wow.
I'm going to post this picture. I got to post a picture.
You don't have to post anything because it's nobody's business what I look like in the comfort of my home.
We're all about being transparent.
What I did was I folded my hair up. See? So there, I did that. And then I folded it up because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin it down and then I'm going to have my little bang again tomorrow with my turban. But because I don't want it to be too flat, I kind of tucked it so that way it's not all the way there. So that's all that's doing.
Okay, be great.
So you're a hater. You're interrupting my relationship.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I build. TJ gets the batteries. When it comes to emails, I proofread them, and then TJ brings home snacks. So these
are really trying to downplay me.
I'm not downplaying you. I'm playing. I'm fucking with you, but. In all seriousness though, in a relationship, like everybody's got their strengths, right? There are things that I am terrible at and TJ is amazing at, and that's why it's important for us to like, even though you don't want to put all of the responsibility on them all the time, but also too, like if it's something that you know that your partner is better at and doesn't mind doing, then it's okay to leverage those strengths because otherwise sometimes, you'll get frustrated, especially when in all actuality, like, even though as couples there are things that you should ideally do together, or it's been you've been given the notion that people should do it together. If it doesn't work for you and your partner, then don't do that. So you leverage your strengths. TJ is great at like
everything else.
He's great at like getting on the phone, talking to people, making sure like things are arranged. When it comes to trips, you plan all the trips.
That's because you're just lazy. That's it. But
okay, so now you're coming for me.
I'm not.
You
that's
feel like
the
I was
truth.
coming for you. I'm lazy.
Why don't you do it?
Because you're better at it.
I'm not better at it.
You are.
I'm really not.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
So, and.
See, I wish you could just be as honest as I am.
Listen, am being honest.
I don't have the patience. Yeah, because I don't have the patience.
Okay, so I'm more patient than you. So that's my strength.
Okay, but when we're talking about why you can't do a trip, because you did a trip for me, there was no issues with the trip. You don't like to.
I am not a planner. It's not. Not because I'm lazy. Because it's just not a preference of mine. I don't like to plan things. I don't like.
Why?
Because it's because it feels overwhelming.
So if you don't like to plan things, why when plans change you get upset?
Because if I'm expected, one has nothing to do with the other.
How?
Because I do not like, and I'm listeners, lovers, whatever you want to call yourself. Please feel free to chime in on this one when you hear this episode. I do not like to plan, meaning I don't like to coordinate people and places and times and all stuff like that, because I oftentimes get very frustrated, or I'll feel overwhelmed, or I'll feel stressed out. I am an excellent participant in plans, because if you tell me, Dani, I need you to do this, Dani, you need to be here at this time, I'm like, I need this much money to kick in or whatever, no problem, just tell me that, I'll be there, I'll do my part. That has nothing to do with the fact that if you tell me for 2 weeks we're going to do a show at Friday at 7:00, and then on Thursday at 3:00 you're like, oh, actually we're gonna do something different, or actually I canceled it, we're not going anymore, or something like that happened.
But you didn't plan it, so it shouldn't frustrate you.
What frustrates me about that is that I have my mind or my heart set on something, and then it gets switched up on me at the last minute.
Whatever.
So There's a difference. It's a wild difference. Well, can I plan a trip or can I plan something?
I mean, we can all do anything. Can I build? Yes, I can. But if I had a choice to, no, I would not want to build something because yes, I do not have the patience.
Okay, and I don't
unless it's A, B, C, D.
I don't have the patience to plan trips, so that therefore our patience works in different areas.
But I've also went above and beyond to build something,
and I've also gone above and beyond to plan something.
Well, for me.
Okay.
I'm not talking about for everybody else.
I've only done it a few other times, but when I do it, I do a good job of it. But it's just not my forte. It's not what I like to do.
Oh, okay.
Just like you don't like to build.
Goal.
What?
To just stop being like lazy and selfish.
I'm lazy and selfish. Really? How am I lazy and selfish?
Because it's like. You do it because someone else is doing it. It's like you're being lazy. So
I do what because someone else is doing it? Like
the trips, you'll go, but you're not planning it. Like you're not even saying like, okay, well, TJ's planned the last 20 trips. Let me plan one trip.
Okay.
So to me, that's lazy.
It's not lazy. It's just
because it's something that you can do.
Okay, and you can build stuff, but if it's not what you're, if
I had to do it, I would do it. That's not a problem.
And if I had to do it, I would do it. When I had to plan your birthday trip,
well, you didn't have to plan my birthday trip.
When I made the decision to plan you a birthday trip, I did it. So that I had to do it because I was coordinating it.
I mean, I could have planned it.
But that doesn't make me selfish or lazy. That just makes that means that that's something that's not
we can agree to disagree.
Passion or a strength of mine. But see, I didn't say that you were lazy or selfish. I just said that you had my tip was to leverage your strengths. Your strength is coordinating trips and
that's not my fucking trip. I do it because if I don't do it, then we wouldn't go anywhere. So it's not a leverage. I'm not leveraging anything. That's not a strength of mine. A strength of mine is not planning a trip. If I didn't have to necessarily do it, I probably wouldn't do it. Or I wouldn't mind taking turns. But it's very draining when you are the only person doing stuff. So yes, to me, it's lazy and it's selfish. That's just my personal. We can agree to disagree. There's nothing wrong with that.
You just took it. You just made a fucking buzzkill. Like.
Okay. If that's what you want to call it.
I mean, I was talking about building a toy castle, and you went to I'm lazy and selfish. So, all right. Well,
whatever. What's your feelings?
What is your tip of the week?
Practice gratitude.
I can't. I'm lazy and selfish.
So, earlier, my elevator was up because of Dani, and that was me practicing gratitude. I was thankful of her. She's really upset right now. She's in her feelings, so.
I'm not upset.
Your tone changed, your arms are folded, your face is scrounged.
I'm over it.
So, you should tell your partner things that you appreciate about them.
I appreciate that you plan fucking trips.
See, she's upset. You mad?
I'm annoyed.
Okay.
I'm not mad.
So, that's my tip. It's real simple.
Like you.
See, it's weird because you're the one taking digs, and then when I take a dig, now everything's upset.
Because it was like, mine were like playful jabs. Like, I build a castle, you get the batteries, whatever.
I'm playfully calling you selfish and lazy.
That's not something you playfully call somebody.
Says who?
Y'all, please help me out and back me up when y'all hear this episode, because what always ends up happening is that TJ has to hear it from y'all before it clicks in his head.
I don't think that me calling you selfish or lazy is
how do you playfully call somebody selfish?
All right. I don't know.
I mean, just elaborate, explain for me. I mean, listen, we could do this again when we quarrel in the beginning of the episode.
Listen, it is what it is. I'm not. You taking jabs, so I'm taking jabs. So it's because of the words that I use. Maybe I should use a different word instead of lazy and selfish.
So does that mean that you felt that?
Let me look up the right word to use for selfish.
Let me ask you this question, Mr.
Go ahead, Dani.
Did you feel hurt or attacked when I made the joke?
I felt like it was
like you taking a low blow or something like that.
I felt like it wasn't needed, it wasn't necessary. So I was like, oh, if we're digging, let's dig together.
Okay, well, if that is the case, I would suggest in the future that you just say that, and I will gladly apologize for that.
So instead of selfish, you're unmindful. Is that nicer? Does that make you feel better?
Well, no, not at this point.
Okay.
But if I
unthinking.
If I
that's what I'll say next time.
If
Instead
I
of selfish,
told you,
you're unthinking.
If you felt that my little like leverage your strengths like joke dig or whatever was offensive to you, I apologize. Because I do not like the fact that you called me lazy and selfish. When
I'm not saying that Danielle
still do mean that
entirely is lazy and selfish, but the act of if we took 20 trips and you've only planned one of the 20 trips, to me that is selfish. Because you're not thinking about the other person. You've never once said, "Hey, let me plan the trip." It never clicked in your. It's just like, oh well, he always plans the trip, so that's his job now. Thank God, because I don't ever want to have to do it.
Do you feel like there's anything that I do that's where it's like that? The onus is primarily on me more than anything else, or
I'm pretty sure there is, but the difference between me and you is that I'm going to voice it and you're going to keep it to yourself. So,
but if you acknowledge that there is, even if I can't even necessarily think of one at this moment now,
I'm saying that because I'm fucking human. I know that there may be things that you do more primarily.
Does that make you lazy and selfish too? Then,
depending on the situation, I probably am lazy and selfish. I can admit that sometimes if it's something that I don't want to do, I might selfishly make that decision. I'm not going to do it because you're going to do it. Yes. The difference between me and you is that I can look in the mirror and I can say, "Yep, you won't."
That because the scenario that you gave, I don't perceive it as me being lazy or selfish. I perceive it as I've always interpreted as this is something that TJ is very good at. This is something as far as like finding the flights, figuring out like, okay, this is what we're gonna do, this is what we're gonna go, and then like to me, I always
2020.
I feel like I come in and I do like
there's no such thing as gender roles too, so you can do it. It has nothing to do with because he's done it. This is his job.
Okay, so then why don't we trade, right? Because what does happen when we travel is you make the flight arrangements, the hotel arrangements, and things like that, which I give you 100%. But then when it comes to packing for the trip, right? When it comes to
I pack myself. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
I'm supposed to pack for you too?
No, I pack for me and I pack for Tatum. And so what I'm saying is then I can do that part and then you can pack for you and Tatum.
The next trip I'll pack for me and Tatum. And
I will make sure we hotel or flight accommodations will be handled.
Okay. If you say so.
I mean, they kind of go hand in hand.
No, cuz I just feel like you're like now you're just looking for stuff. Like you're just trying to find something. What can I grab out of the sky just so I can have something to say because he brought up a flaw of mine, so I need to be even, as opposed to like that has nothing to do with anything. We've only never mind. You got it.
Are you upset now?
No, I'm not upset. I just think it's like corny. Like, let me find something to go back with. Like you just said you had nothing, but you're just grasping. Like, that's not. What can I find? Please, just something land so I can.
I said and I mean as far as anything outside of this, but I was trying to think of what's relevant to the topic at hand, and then I thought about you always plan for the hotel accommodations, the flight accommodations if we need them, and then I always end up packing for myself, packing for Tatum, making sure I'm keeping track of everything. And which takes more time. It takes me more time to get myself together. So what I was saying, I thought that would be an opportunity for a fair trade-off because
how's that a fair trade-off? It's
because it's all surrounding travel.
Okay,
it's all kind of wrapped up into the travel, under the travel umbrella. But clearly, I don't think you're in agreement.
We can do whatever you want, Danielle. Whatever makes you feel happy. Let's do it.
I was content with things the way that they were,
of course, because you didn't have to do anything but pack. Sorry, for you and Tatum, even when Tatum's not in the trip with us. But I get you. I understand the concept.
Well, listen. I just didn't like being called lazy and selfish. And I reserve the right to feel that way.
You do. So I won't call you selfish. I'll call you unmindful, unthinking.
Unthinking.
See, that sounds worse than selfish.
Well, at this point in the game...
We can go to my word of the week.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
She's upset. She's mad, y'all.
I'm not mad. I'm just...
Don't be mad. Be glad.
I'm annoyed, but... Because you know what? Because you know what's going to happen is that...
There it goes.
Somebody is going to listen to this episode, and they're going to come back around and going to say... I'm like... 88% sure that someone's going to come back around and they're going to point out to you where you might have gone wrong. And maybe just maybe they'll point out where I maybe have misstepped or maybe I'm not understanding you. And then you're going to like get it. And sometimes that's frustrating too because it's like, I always got to wait for somebody else to tell him.
I mean, that's what happens, though. We're opposites, and we're around each other all the time. So, yeah, sometimes when you say stuff, it doesn't make sense. Sometimes you need other eyes, and that's okay. That's how life works.
It is.
At least that's how it works. That's how life works for me. I can't speak for you.
I know. Well, from my perspective, it can still be a little frustrating when what I say makes sense to everyone else, but it doesn't make sense to the person who matters the most.
Okay. If you say so.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes I just want to...
What do you want to do?
Give you a big old kiss. So go ahead. Try and stump me.
The word of the week is onerous. If one teacher gives you 3 hours of homework a night, that's rough. But if all of your teachers do it, that makes the task of completing your homework an onerous one. To say the least... If something is onerous, it is very difficult to deal with or do.
Onerous. Onerous.
That is correct. Did you look it up?
I did not. I'm lazy and I'm selfish, but I don't cheat. So...
Well,
I don't want you to add that to my resume.
Listen, you got it.
And
with that, we're gonna take a break. Hear a message from our sponsor. We'll come back. Maybe Danny will be more happier.
Just happier, more happier.
See?
More happy or happier. It's one or the other.
Maybe she'll be happier. Thanks, babe. Without you,
leverage your strengths.
Leverage my strengths. You're right. Great tip.
Hey friend, it's time for you to ditch those workout gloves and get the grip and wrist support you deserve. What do you suggest? You need to get the Gaines Load and Lock grips by Gaines Sports Gear. They are more durable than gloves, have a non-slip grip pad that provides grip support and added wrist support unlike your traditional workout gloves, and will protect your hands from calluses. Do they come in different colors? Not only do they come in different colors, but they are available for men and women. Do yourself a favor, go to GainesSportsGear.com. And remember, a better grip equals a better lift. Embrace the process.
And you too can embrace the process with our code LOVERS10 at Gaines, GAINZ, sportsgear.com. And now, back to the episode. And now we're back.
Yep. And I am somewhat more out of my feelings. Well, TJ and I had to take it offline for a second. I feel like, and we had to hash things out. But I also feel as though this is a perfect opportunity for he and I to do this next segment, which is going to have us and provide us with an opportunity to ask each other questions and answer each other, because there's always an opportunity for us to learn from each other, even after all this time together. So on my, the algorithms on Instagram and Facebook lately have keep bringing me back to this particular relationship card game called Skin Deep. And the purpose of the game is you can they have like card sets for like people who are in an actual like relationship or marriage. They have them for family. They have them for coworkers. They have them even for strangers, right? To start having like meaningful conversations with people that you just met. So what I did was I was able to obtain some of the skin deep questions. And what we're going to do now is we're going to basically ask these questions of each other. So basically like we'll alternate asking the questions, and we will both answer them. And I like this one better than even I'm hopeful for the prospect of this one, because unlike that, like feels like a million episodes ago when we did those like scenario relationship question games where TJ and I really couldn't like answer them to fidelity because we hadn't experienced those things, and we've never dated anyone else. And then even the getting to know you games, those were still kind of random and not as much directed towards relationships and each other and your partner. So this is TJ and Danny's first foray into playing Skin Deep.
All right, so there's 15 questions, so we can do 7 this episode, 8th episode.
Sure. I mean, I guess it depends
the next
on
episode.
You know, as long as, I mean, if that's how much time is taken up, then absolutely. So
I just think 15 questions is a lot for people. So if we break it up to 2 different episodes, it'll give us.
I'm fine with that.
That way we're not doing another 2 hours or hour and a half hour. But
sounds like a plan to me. Let's just do this. Do you want to go down the list, or do you want to like peruse the questions and pick the ones you want to
start
ask?
from the top, and I'll go from the bottom. That
okay.
way it's
all right. So the first question for Skin Deep is, what would you tell your younger self about what it means to be in a relationship with me?
What would you tell your younger self what it means relationship?
So if you could go back in time,
what
would you tell 16-year-old TJ about being in a relationship with Danny?
Don't do it. That was a joke, but
of course.
Anyway, I would say be understanding. My Danny is a Cancer. She's sensitive about some things, and try not to be as rough, I would say. But what else would I say? I would say that she is going to change and mature, and not to push back on her changes.
That's interesting. That's a very thoughtful response. I appreciate that. And what would I tell my younger self about what it means to be in a relationship with TJ? I would tell myself that my younger self, to prepare yourself to stand your ground. Because sometimes, and I'm saying this, and this is not to be like rude or anything like that, but just that sometimes TJ, without realizing it, sometimes can like bulldoze a little bit sometimes. So you have to kind of be firm in what you're saying or feeling, to make sure that you're heard at times in the beginning. You do get better at it over time. You definitely get better at it. Another thing I would tell my younger self about being in a relationship with TJ is that regardless of how he might feel or how what he might say, that his heart is 150% always in the right place. So, how do you feel about that?
Lovely.
Oh, I'm glad. That's a good word. Your question, my good sir.
What do you think I'm teaching you?
I think that you're teaching me patience, and I think that you're teaching me, like to this day, that you're teaching me how to not defend myself, but like how to stand up for what I believe in, to not take things lying down sometimes. I think those are things that you definitely still teach me to this day. Like, had to push myself at times.
I would say that you're teaching me how not to be as impulsive on certain topics. Not to be as impulsive. Also not to like be married to items. In the sense of like, I'll keep jeans or a shirt or some. I'll keep stuff from the past that. For like the sentimental value or the fact that I paid whatever I paid for it in that time. So I'm like, nah, I just got to keep it. Like, it's still worth that. And yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm helping you let go. That's 2 questions down, right? So that means you've got like either 6 more to go, give or take.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah. The next question I feel like sounds kind of like the same question that we just answered. So I'm gonna jump down. So we're actually gonna have 14 questions. So we'll do seven and 7. Okay. What's one thing you never want me to forget?
I would never want you to forget your strength. I think that you are very strong mentally, physically, and everything else. So I would say never forget how strong you are, no matter how tough a situation is or, something that's new. You are strong enough to deal with any of it. So,
got you. Thank you. What I would want you to never forget is how brilliant you can be sometimes. I know that I'm like the resident geek, nerd, smarty pants between the two of us often at first glance, but you are a very wise person and you have a lot of like innovative thoughts and ideas sometimes. Like you're very creative, and I think that sometimes like you'll defer to me as like, oh, she's the brains or something like that, but you have a lot to offer as well when it comes to just general intelligence or just like the strengths that you have with your thinking. And I don't want you to forget that, because I feel like sometimes maybe you doubt that or you defer sometimes, or maybe not even defer, like you downplay it sometimes, and I don't think you should.
Great words. Thank you.
You're very welcome, my good sir.
What do you think is holding you back?
What do I think is holding me back? I think the thing that holds me back sometimes is fear of making a mistake, like doing something that's like irrevocable, like I can't take it back or I can't fix it. Like I think sometimes what holds me back from like sometimes taking a leap of faith on something or to moving forward with things is that I'll make the wrong choice, and sometimes I end up making no choice or I delay a choice. So I'm working on that, because there's even things right like in my head right now that I'm thinking of that I am hesitant on doing because I'm worried that I might mess up some other potential opportunities or chances that come along my way. So, but I'm going to try not to let that hold me back.
But the question is, what do you think is holding me back? Like,
oh my gosh.
The question says, what do you think is holding me back?
Oh.
Not what's holding
me back.
Yeah.
What's holding you back?
Yeah. Do
you want to just delete this and then start over? I'll just keep going. Actually, I'll just keep going. I'm just playing. Okay. No, it's okay. Because you can have a totally different answer about me. So I talked about myself. I'm sorry. He wants to call me selfish.
I do.
He wants to call me selfish because I misinterpreted
you had a
the
lapse
question.
Yeah, I got you.
So what's holding you back? I think something that's holding you back is sometimes I think it's like your pessimism. You can be very glass half empty at times, which makes you sometimes say things like that, like something like kind of like makes you feel a little like defeated with certain things. Not all the time, but I think that that's something that can hold you back, because I think if you like went out on faith a little bit more, which is something I need to do too, that you would be really surprised. But what do you think is holding me back?
Well, you said it. I do think that you play it safe too much, or you follow the rules too much, or you don't want to hurt people's feelings, or you don't want to take someone's opportunity from them, so you'll downplay it so that way, or you'll try to find a solution so that way everybody's happy. Like, you don't want to watch a game that's close because you don't want anyone to lose. So
I get stressed out watching that stuff. What? So this is question 5. I think this is question 5. You've asked 2. I've asked 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What has been the greatest struggle for us, or for you? Excuse me. What has been the greatest struggle for you in raising Tatum?
Well, no, this one says for us, so we would say what we, right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think the greatest struggle in raising Tatum for us. Oh yeah, let's switch it to the way you want.
Okay, so
you think about me and me think about you.
Okay, so what's my greatest struggle with raising Tatum?
That's hard for me to say. I don't think that you necessarily caused our struggles.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe what do you feel like I struggle with as like a parent to her?
Yeah, I don't. If I had to say, I'd probably say that like when she's like whining, you like allow her to do the whining, as opposed to like, getting her to understand like you can't whine for everything, because once she whines and people give in or ask what's wrong, and now I feel like she's playing to that. So I think like her whining, you're like this is what she's gonna do, as opposed to saying you can't whine because you can't whine just to whine. That makes sense?
It does make sense. I like agree and disagree with your statement, but I hear what you're saying. But only because some of it is like, I look at it as like, okay, this is developmentally appropriate. So to an extent, like how much is she going to understand that she's not supposed to whine when she's only not even 3, but then also that she does need to be corrected, reprimanded at times as well. So, but it's like trying to strike that balance.
No, I get that, but if you're saying that she needs to be reprimanded and she's learning, the only way that you learn is by seeing. I'm not saying that you got to beat her or you got to like scream at her, but try to help her realize that this isn't going to work. Like, listen, if you're going to cry, it's okay for you to cry, but I'm not going to cater to it. So whenever you're ready to stop crying, come get me. Something like.
Yeah, I think that sometimes like when I do like ignore her, like, okay, I'm not feeding into this. I'll step over her when she's having a tantrum. That to me is like, okay, that's my way of approach or whatever.
Got you.
What I feel like is your biggest struggle in raising Tatum is probably patience. I think that sometimes
I agree.
You're less patient with her than I am, and then sometimes you like will fuss at her in a way that like of course little kids, she's little, so she'll cry or something like that, but then also too like I think you like I hate that you kind of sometimes feel guilty afterwards, but I do think it's amazing that you'll come in and apologize, because kids need to hear adults say that they're sorry, and that's something that I feel like we're both doing a good job of when it comes to her, because that's definitely a parenting shift that is more recent. But I would just say, yeah, in general, like your patience with Tatum and kind of like understanding that certain things that she says or does are developmentally appropriate. So even though they're not ideal, she's like right on target for what she's supposed to be doing for her age. But that's our question. That's question number 5. So we've got 2 more before we wrap this sucker up.
What's your favorite imperfection about me?
What's my favorite imperfection about you? I would say personality-wise, my favorite imperfection about you is your...
No, what is your...
What is my favorite imperfection about you, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, my favorite imperfection about you, TJ, is... I guess I would say it's kind of like your gift and your curse, which I'll say is like your... Oh, you know what? It was like your impulsivity. Because even though it is an imperfection, because obviously to be impulsive is... There's a time and a place for impulsivity sometimes. And even though sometimes I'm trying to be the one to like reel you in sometimes or be like, let's slow it down. There have been other moments where your impulsivity has led to some of like the greatest moments of our relationship, of our experiences with each other, and some of the most fun that I've ever had. So I feel like that's one of my favorite imperfections of you. And physically, one of my favorite imperfections of you is I've always been a fan of your little chipped tooth, but that's not there anymore.
Still,
I mean, a little bit, but you're a little, So that was
Yo, you talking about my little baby teeth?
Well,
Tooth.
that was I never minded it. I always like.
That wasn't a chipped tooth. It was just a baby tooth. It's how.
Okay, well, your little baby tooth.
I thought the chip got out of control.
But I just thought I thought it was a little charming.
I would say, like your weirdness.
Okay.
Like, you're comfortable in your weirdness, and their weirdness is like makes you super dope, makes you like a star, because it's like you're doing your own thing, you don't care.
What's something about me that's weird, just to give people like an example?
I feel like when it's like serious moments, you want to start like dancing and like just doing weird things, and
fair,
and then once you get one laugh, you like, oh, I gotta keep going. So
I am good for an awkward dance. Is there any physical imperfections of mine that you like?
No, I think you're perfect.
Aww. Okay. Is this the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, this is a good one, especially in light of the beginning of our episode and our little tit for tat. When was the last time I surprised you, and why? And it doesn't have to be like surprise birthday, but like just anything like surprise.
I'm gonna say when you did my birthday, that was my birthday party.
The one that you didn't seem happy about?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so TJ, I guess maybe he was suspicious or whatever. He didn't like my lies.
His story.
He didn't like my lies to get him to the party. So then he like walked into the party and everybody's like, surprise, and he's got his face all screwed up.
I did.
And you like, the fuck? Like looking around, and it's like people coming from like New York and North Carolina and all over parts of Maryland to come celebrate this nigga, and he's just like, hey, like, I guess, like,
I did.
Whereas when he played my surprise birthday party, I was like crying and like, oh my God. But that's where he and I differ sometimes. The last time you surprised me, The last time you surprised me, if I'm being literal, if I'm going to be really, really, like, even if it's a really small thing, TJ brought me home some Oreos the other day. And he's known for, like, sometimes just, like, being thoughtful, mindful. That's a word he likes to. And if he sees something like, you know, I don't know, anything from, like, my favorite candy to if he sees something that, you know, that's my favorite color, he'll, like, sometimes, like, grab it and bring it home or whatever. Like, he's definitely a surpriser on, like, the little things scale a lot of the time, which is really dope. And it's something that I really do, like, truly, truly appreciate about him, because it's easy to pass something and, like, that person doesn't cross your mind, but I seem to cross his mind a lot when he's out and about, and that definitely warms my heart, and that also leads me to having these, like, little mini surprises on a pretty regular basis. So maybe I go big when I do my surprises and, like, few and far between, and you do, like, a lot of, like, even though you do big surprises too, not saying you don't do those, but, like, you do a lot of, like, smaller surprises on a more regular basis. Is that fair?
Sure. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, how do you feel about the questions, the skin deep questions? Were they better than the other relationship questions?
I'm looking at the other questions that we're going to do next week. I think those will be a little bit more exciting.
Okay.
But
so this is like a good toe in the pond?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, thank you for bearing with us as far as us going on a hiatus with last week's episode. And I'm going to reiterate, please, 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 just pray for us, send us all the good vibes and energy as we kind of take these next steps into this new journey, and that we keep our sanity, and that we can continue to record. And I mean, we're going to obviously continue to record, but that, like, you know, our schedule stays on track and everything like that. There's a lot of good things coming up for this year, a lot of goals we're going to try and accomplish aside from home ownership. And yeah, we're just glad to be sharing our ride with you, and we hope that you continue to ride the wave with us.
Yeah, what she said.
With that being said, this has been another episode of Lovers Quarrel. You know that, as always, you can find us on social media on Instagram at Lovers Quarrel Show, on Twitter at Lovers Quarrel 7. And of course, if you have emails, questions, comments, concerns, send us a message to loversquarrelshow@gmail.com. And you already know that I am your girl, Dani.
And I'm your guy, TJ.
And you know that we fuss.
We fight. But we love. Bye. I love you.
I love you too.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.